Good evening, Coach.
Hey, how you doing? How you guys doing?
We'll get started here with John McMullen and then Ruben.
Hey, Nick. Um, you mentioned Thursday, I guess, was your final install practice. So I'm curious how things changed from this point forward. What changed Saturday? What changed as far as practice?
The major difference now is there will be some scripted periods, meaning that our coaches have prepared, right, and that were scripted all the way out. But a lot more, there's going to be a lot more call it periods, meaning the players won't have access to that script, all right, of what we don't really. I mean, we know what we got an idea what we're gonna call this. It's just more like a game. There's going to be a call sheet, like here's our practice call sheet, and we're going to go off that menu, and all the installs will be in there. So the way we did it the other day was there were some periods that were just call it and move the ball. So if you got yourself in a 3rd and 8, you called the 3rd and 8. So that was great. That's good, really good for the players because, again, they can't study the script. They got to go out and react like it is a game. And it's really good for our coaches. It's good for me to call the game like that. It's good for Shane to listen in and help assist with me on that. And it's good for Jonathan to call a game like that. So that was the major difference of how practice structure was as far as on Saturday. And it'll be very similar practice style today.
Ruben and then Tim McManus.
Hey, Nick, after a practice like yesterday where the offense, I guess, was a little uneven, what's your message to them? And when there's periods that are that lopsided, what's your message to Jason or to Jalen, and how did he handle all of it?
Well, we were getting ready for this press conference. I was talking to Bob, and we were looking at the practice. Well, here's everything. Here's what I always have to go on. When we come off of the field, there's going to be sometimes this happens to me as a coach, and it happens to me that it's happened to me my entire career as a coach. So I've just learned from this. You come off the field sometimes, and you're like, man, that practice stunk. And then you go in and you watch the tape, and you're like, hey, it wasn't that bad. And you come off the field sometime, and you're like, man, that practice was really good. And you come off, and you're like, man, we kind of stunk. And sometimes that happens in practice where you feel that. And so I kind of felt practice was neutral, to be 100% honest with you, the other day. And, going back and looking at the tape, it pretty much was the way we scored it out and everything like that. Now, so, just sometimes it's just watching those periods, those 7-on-7 periods and that 11-on-11 period and see what happened. The thing I was disappointed on as far as the offense goes, because the play, like I said, the win-losses on plays were pretty even. The 3rd down was a little low, about 5% lower than what we look for, and then the turnovers. We had a turnover in a critical period, and it went for a pick 6 as an offense. And then we had also Jalen had a turnover on a scramble drill, and then we had another snap that went over Joe's head, or Joe mishandled. So that's what I wanted back from that practice. As far as the work that we got, offense versus defense, I thought it was good, and I thought it was pretty even. But again, want those turnovers back. And there was a couple plays too that, Coach Gannon looked at me and said, that's an offensive win. And I said, Jonathan, like, you guys got that push in the pocket, but Jalen has a very unique skill set of being able to scramble and make the play. And so there was enough protection there that I didn't call a sack on a couple of those, and Jalen scrambled to make a play on a 3rd down. So again, it's not always as it appears right away, and I thought it was a really good practice back and forth. Again, want to limit the turnovers though.
Go ahead, Tim, and then Ed Kratz.
Nick, what would you like to see out of Jalen between tonight and the start of the regular season to make you feel good about where things are? What details are you focusing in on?
Yeah, just continuing to grow in the offense and being able to throw on rhythm, and with some consistency with his rhythm. But I also understand that some part of his game is to be able to move around and make plays. So but again, a wise man avoids all extremes. It can't be all rhythm, and it can't be all scramble. So it's like, hey, what's the happy median there? So it's just, again, because right now, he's back and forth. He's getting some good throws on rhythm, and so, but just want to make those numbers grow a little bit, and then because we know how valuable of a tool his legs are.
Ed, and then Jeff McClain.
Hey, Nick. Just
Yeah.
about tonight's atmosphere. You know, you're coming into the link here, first time in front of fans. What's your message to the team? I know it's a big deal to a lot of rookies, and I think Alex said earlier the second-year guys are pretty pumped up too. So what? And I imagine you are too. First time as a head coach coming in here with some fans. But what's the messaging? How's it feel? What kind of atmosphere are you looking forward to tonight?
Again, just happy to be part of the best fan base in the NFL. I mean, I'm just really looking forward to going out there and being around the fans. But, you know, whether it's practice in front of nobody or practice in front of 40,000 people or a game in front of 70,000 people, the way you go up and approach your business has to be the same. And that's been my messaging. It's, hey, there's going to be people in the crowd tonight. And, you know, last year that wasn't a thing. So just get back to, you know, it's going to be different. But, you know, that's how each game presents itself. So again, just practice. You guys have heard me talk about this so much. Like, practice is just such a great preparation for what it's practice. It's such a great preparation for what you're about to do in the game. And we spend so much time on let's make it as hard as we can in practice so we're ready for the game. So nothing changes. I didn't even address it, to be 100% honest with you, because, you know, it's just business as usual.
Go ahead, Jeff, and then Martin.
Nick, we've heard from some players that there's more RPOs in this offense than maybe previously, or maybe not even just Philadelphia, but where they've come from. And I'm wondering what's your experience with them? I know Frank probably took some of that from here and brought it to there. And do you want to utilize them more because of Jalen's ability to move his feet and be able to the run option part of it,
Sure.
the pressure that he can put on defenses? Sure.
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, yeah, RPOs are part of the offense and part of the puzzle to our offense, right? It's definitely a section that I didn't have a ton of experience with until, you know, late in that 17 year with the Chargers, and then a lot with these past 3 years here with Frank and myself at the Colts. So really just see how much it benefits your offense, because you're able to read a player instead of block a player, right? And so that, that's a great thing to be able to do. Like, hey, I don't have to block him. What did he do? Did he take a drop? All right, good. I'm handing off. Did he knife it? Good. I'm pulling it and taking it and throwing the ball. So big part of it, what we do. I mean, yeah, it's a piece of the puzzle of what we do, and we just are continuing to grow in it. I think we have great coaches. Like Kevin Patullo was around a lot of the RPO stuff. One of the reasons why, and to be honest with you, one of the reasons why we hired Kevin in Indianapolis was because his experience. You know, Frank had just come off of the Philly teams of having a lot of experience or having a lot of success with the RPOs. And Kevin was in college the year before at Texas A&M, and he came and talked to us, and we were like, yes, we like this stuff. And so we brought him to Indianapolis. That was one reason why we did that. Another coach that we hired in Indianapolis that really helped me grow in that world was Tom Manning, who's now the offensive coordinator at Iowa State. He was the coordinator at Iowa State. He came and worked with us for a year, and then he went back to Iowa State as the coordinator. He must have had a hard time working for me. I must have been too hard on him. But and then Brian Johnson, right? Brian Johnson has a lot of background on this, and Jason Michael. Like, I'm so lucky on this staff that we have, Jason, who's called plays in the NFL for Marcus Mariota, and you know, we know how Marcus ran with the football. Brian, who's been an offensive coordinator, Shane, right? Kevin's got a lot of experience helping call games and everything like that. And so just that great offensive staff that we have right there with a lot of experience with the run pass options on that staff as well.
Go ahead, Martin, and then Rob Motti.
Hey, Nick, I was wondering I could switch to defense. Alex Singleton was talking to us before about coming back from COVID and everything, and I was curious as to your thoughts, like kind of where he is football-wise and everything. And at the same time, Davion's out week to week, obviously. How much of a setback is that for him, considering that he's relatively, inexperienced in football?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good to get Alex back out there, and it's, he's still in that, our trainers did a good job of getting him back ready to play, and so it was good to have him back out there. And you felt him out there the other day at practice. I felt his experience, I felt his playmaking ability, and it was good to have him back out there. Davion, sure, when you miss time, like that's like, again, I hope you guys know, like, practice is how we get better, and practice is how we prepare for the game. And I'm obsessed with practice. I just know how important it is, and it's just the common denominator of good teams. They know how to practice. They know how to practice hard. So of course, if you miss some time, you're going to have some setbacks there. But again, I know that he's attacking the meeting room, just like he would attack the practice field. And I know that he's got a really good coach. Nick Rawlis is willing to do everything and anything to get his players ready to play, and that was evident. That's just been evident to me since Nick's been on the staff, and just like he's a relentless worker, and Davion's a relentless worker too, and they're meeting a heck of a lot more than what's actually required of them. So. Really, really pleased that he's attacking the meetings there, and look forward to when we can get him back on the field.
Go ahead, Rob, and then Dave Zingaro.
Hey, Nick, how would you evaluate the competition at left tackle so far in camp? And even though you weren't here when Andre Dillard was selected in the first round, how does that factor into the decision when it comes time to make one?
I think that's a good battle. I think that, when you have those competitions, like, it brings out the best in both of them, right? You have a competition, and both people have to rise to the occasion. So it's making them better. Competition makes you better, right? That's why it's such a core value here. It makes you better, and I see that happening with both guys right now. As far as draft status or anything like that, we're in the business of winning football games, and whoever gives us the best chance to win the football game will be there. And I just got done showing a Terrell Davis clip of, I don't remember if he was undrafted or if he was drafted in the 6th round. I don't remember, but or 7th round or whatever it was. But just showing him making a play on special teams is one of videos that we showed to the team of just like, hey, look at him. He was buried on the depth chart, and then he came in and he made a play on special teams, and it opened up this window for him to become a Hall of Fame player. And so, we don't care. We don't care, because at the end of the day, I'm judged on wins and losses, and I very well know that. So we got to play the guys that are most ready to play and give us the best chance to win.
Go ahead, Dave, and then Mike K.
Dave, I think you're muted.
Mike, why don't you jump in?
Hey, Nick, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I got you, Mike.
All right. Nick, as an offensive play caller who's going up against this defense every day and evaluating this defense, what stands out to you about your personnel on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, it all starts up front, right? It all starts up front, both sides of the ball, and I just see a very deep unit of guys that I think we're going to be able to count on, right up front. And then I see our linebackers, and I see young playmakers really just, can't wait to see what they can do in these preseason games and what they do at practice every day, because they just get better and better with reps, because they're limited in reps, right? And then, in the secondary, I think we're getting some good. They're contesting the ball on the secondary, right? I see, the corners in the pocket of the receivers challenging us to catch passes on the offensive side of the ball, and challenging the quarterbacks to put accurate balls on them. And then I just see leadership on that safety group, getting guys lined up. I'm very pleased with those guys. The whole reason why every time you hire a coach, you want to know that he can get a player better. That's first and foremost. Can you teach fundamentals? Can you teach fundamentals and get your players better? And I see that with our defensive staff. I just see our guys getting better fundamentally. And then what you look for in a coordinator and the guys, is that, do you have a good scheme, and can you put your guys in position to win? That's all that matters to me as a coach, right? Obviously, I want good people, right, that have my back and have each other's back and have the team back. But after that, it's like, can you coach? Can you coach fundamentals, and can you put your guys in position to make plays? And I believe we have that, and that's one of the reasons why I hired Jonathan Gannon.
We got time for one more, and then we got to head over to the stadium. So why don't we wrap it up here with Dave, if your mic's working, but if not, Zach Berman.
All right, I hope it's working. Hey, Nick, when you have a quarterback like Jalen, where his legs are such a big part of what he does, how does it change the way you view practice, and how does it affect the way you might evaluate him in the offense?
Yeah, that's a good question, Dave. It's like it's the wise man avoids all extreme. You can't just say like, well, everything has to be on rhythm or everything has to be a run, right? We're trying to, get him to play in some rhythm while still using his talents as a runner. So, it's just putting him in again. It's calling the plays and running plays that we think that he has a chance to be successful at. So right now it's still figuring out, does he like the stuff over the middle? Does he like the stuff to the sideline? Does he like the stuff over the ball? Does he like, does he like to be on the move? And so it's just figuring out what those plays are and continue to rep them. Dave, I hope I answered your question. I kind of got it going on a tangent there in a little bit. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, sure. I mean, but how does it affect the way you evaluate him? Because obviously he can't do everything in practice that he might be able to do in a game.
Sure. Yeah, sure. And that was my point to Coach Gannon the other day. He's like, come on, he was running around back there. I said, no one was close to him, and that's one of his major skills is his ability to run. So, we're looking at, when we look at a quarterback, we're looking at his decision making, we're looking at his accuracy, we're looking at his ability to create, right? And we're looking at his leadership abilities, to name 4 things, right? And arm strength is, we're always looking at that, and fundamentals and stuff like that. But those 4 things are critical. And so, we know that to be a full package as a quarterback, you got to have all those things. And I'm glad that, he has that ability to run, because not everybody has that.
Okay. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.